I'll work to contain the situation until 11 is ready. In the meantime, it is of vital importance that you do not speak to anyone about this.
Thinking it's remotely possible to get kids to not tell anyone about anything after they've been told not to tell anyone.
Then the nightmares. Trouble sleeping. He'd wake up in a cold sweat. And then they started seeing things.
Vecna provides similar symptoms to what happens when only watching 24-hour news stations for a week. Gotta mix up that TV viewing a little better by adding in some, Stranger Things or Top Chef or maybe YouTube channels that are supposed to be doling out the sins of a particular episode of television, but instead of a continuous stream of jokes. So many jokes.
All I know is that for Fred and Chrissy, they both died less than 24 hours after their first vision.
Max might know that about Chrissy, but Fred's been dead for less than a day at this point. When even was his last appointment with the school counselor? Because I think he spent at least 24 hours with Nancy working on the Chrissy story and wouldn't have had time to go talk to the counselor. This sounds less like something Max would know and more like something the writers needed Max to know. Stranger Things characters think they hear a monster and it's only one of the f***ing kids being a dick. Cliché. Thinking any single thing about the asshole formerly known as Bily could be misconstrued to be deer.
Each day of covering costs $10 with a DPR. That's a daily percentage rate of 7.9%. Another week of this and he's buying me a goddamn Nintendo with Duck Hunt.
The NES cost $199.99 when it first debuted. Erica's covered for her brother for 2 days at a rate of $10 a day. That means Lucas owes her $20. Add in the DPR of 7.9% and the total for 2 days becomes $20.58. Even if she adds another full week, that's still only $97.11. She wouldn't even have enough to purchase half of an NES, let alone one with Duck Hunt.
Honestly, Henderson, a little humility every now and then, it wouldn't hurt you.
Steve saying this with a straight face and not getting hit upside the head with the black kettle that he most definitely deserves to get hit by.
You're out of your mind if you think I'm babysitting again.
Thing Joe Keery tells Netflix when he gets the Stranger Things scripts every season somehow makes it into the episode.
You have a Tom Cruise poster.
Jonathan was suggesting to Will and Mike that they go see Police Academy 3 in the previous episode, which was released in March of 1986. So Robin is getting this excited over a Tom Cruise poster at least a few weeks before Top Gun was even released. Which means she's getting this worked up because of Risky Business, All the Right Moves, The Outsiders, Endless Love, Taps, Legend, or f***ing Losing It, which, outside of maybe Risky Business, has made me lose a little respect for Robin Buckley, not to mention Nancy for having this poster in the first place. Why would you do that to me, Stranger Things? Why?
Holy shit, there's a little ballerina in here.
Holy shit, have you never seen a music box before?
Joyce, there are certain things one can be late to in life. A dentist appointment, a one-year-old's birthday party, because who cares?
Actually, do you want to know who cares if you're late for a baby's birthday party? The parents. The party isn't for the baby, it's for the parents to celebrate surviving 1 year of making it through sleepless newborn hell. Give them a little consideration, asshole.
Amazing you can get this many people and have it this quiet.
Title of my orgy tape? Sure was nice of Elle to leave Mike a note, but where did they get the cardstock? Did the government scientists hit up a Hallmark store on the way to pick up Elle? It's not usually an item found in a diner.
Maybe I should have said something. And if I would have said that thing, then maybe she'd want me there with her, wherever she is.
Or maybe we could skip.
Looks like it's going to be up to us again.
That's a weird way of saying Elle will have to come in and save everyone's asses again. But sure, go with us, Mike. Totally accurate.
What are you worried about? Ponch and John out there? They're half asleep right now watching golf.
What Jonathan doesn't seem to understand is that this means they're watching golf correctly.
But I still highly recommend slapping some juicy pineapple on your pie.
I know there's been serious debate about whether or not to put pineapple on pizza, and I just want to say that people should do whatever they want with their pizzas. And if they want to put pineapple on them, then they're wrong.
If we go to East Hawkins, will this still reach Penhurst?
East Hawkins? This is for towns that arbitrarily cut off a piece of themselves and then try to make it a separate city with a cardinal direction in the name.
No. No. No.
No.
I know a good lawyer.
Steve gives in to this line even when it's spoken by a 15-year-old that most likely does not know a good lawyer or is just putting the word good before lawyer. You choose. I choose both. I know we should send the whole women struggling to walk in high heels cliche, but let's just f***ing send high heels in general, okay? They're a f***ing ridiculous invention and no one should have to walk in them at all.
You know what they say. Those who can't do, teach.
The original quote is actually, those who can do, those who can't teach, which is as equally a shitty thing to say to a class of workers who are already underpaid and underappreciated.
Other kids, they wanted to be astronauts, basketball players, rock stars, but I wanted to be you. I wanted to be you, so forgive me if I'll now try anything in my power, including wearing this ridiculous outfit, if I might get the chance to speak to the man that ignited my passion and learn a little bit more about how his twisted, but let's face it, totally fascinating mind works.
Maya fucking Hawk.
If things go sideways, I should mention I'm now a black belt in karate.
The number of times karate has been useful to save someone in danger in real life is equivalent to the number of yellow starbursts I eat when I buy a package. 0.
And he loved bears. They broke his heart. Rather puncture it with the bear claws.
I know this is a joke and not a real story, but regardless, I should point out bears do not break or simply puncture hearts. Much like Maggie Reinhardt, my elementary school crush, did, they rip them the f*** apart.
I love the smell of cash in morning.
Thinking cash smells different at different times of the day. Unless you meant morning, cash that's recently lost a friend definitely smells different because usually their friend got traded in for metal remnants of coins that smell like iron and copper and shit. And who loves that? I guess what I'm saying is let your cash process its emotions however it needs to and quit getting your jollies off smelling its pain. Hopper's plan depended on him perfectly breaking the shaft of a sledgehammer. That wasn't a dream I had. That's what fucking happened in this episode, and it is so stupid. He's taken out or possibly killed one of the soldier's comrades. He's also clearly attempting an escape. Why is the soldier asking Hopper a question, not to mention in a language Hopper doesn't even understand, instead of just shooting him? Storing dynamite where the prisoners have access to it. This Russian guard clearly attended the Stormtrooper Academy for aiming at things.
That thing's got batteries in it, right?
I'm not even answering that question.
Dustin would be the walkie-talkie at TVSins. Honestly, I don't even know what that designation means. I just like to say walkie-talkie. Walkie-talkie.
Oh, Mr. Bradley let me off early, so just catching up on some chores.
Convenient mother appearing for last-second emotional connection is convenient.
Nothing is going to happen, baby. Promise.
Except everything will happen to Max. For some reason, the show decided to move pincushion duties this season from Will to Max. But Will did get stuck with the bowl cut, so honestly not sure who got off easier this season.
Hey, that was longer than 20 seconds.
Rushing someone who most likely only has hours left to live.
We found that music has a particularly calming effect on the broken mind.
It does? I mean, of course it does. That's exactly why I pump nonstop Cradle of Filth into the TVSins intern room at near deafening volume. You know, for calming effects.
Guess I'm just nervous. I mean, excited. So excited to speak with Victor. Preferably, as she said, alone?
Yes. Why not?
We'll find out the doc leaves to go make sure their story isn't bullshit, which is understandable. But also means it makes no sense why he's let them go speak to Victor alone while he takes care of this.
You got visitors. Real pretty ones.
The security officer. Giving your patients tables made out of what appears to be talcum powder. I'd just like to point out again that this season is not even trying to hide that Vecna is a half-ass homage / ripoff of Freddy Krueger. They even cast Robert Englund this season, for f***'s sake.
I was being a total self-pitying idiot.
Mike's just realizing this now? This has been his issue since season 1. Maybe the show's using Mike's assholishness to his friends to explain how the resulting anxiety and stress has aged them all 8 years over what is canonically barely a 2-year period. Seriously, guys, Stockard Channing is more realistic as a high schooler at this point.
Pizza time. I got it.
Having a f***ing cow when Jonathan wanted to go to the kitchen to grab something to drink, but being this willy-nilly about opening the door to a stranger because there might be pizza on the other side of it. Worst government security detail ever.
Hello there.
Showing up to a house to secretly murder everyone wearing army fatigues. Luckily, this guy walked into the worst government security detail ever. I've never been in a shootout before, but I'd like to think I wouldn't ask such dumbass questions in the middle of said shootout.
I shoot, you run!
Not giving a direction to where to run is part of your instruction.
Oh my God, why is that guy on the gun?
I think the more important question is, why isn't that man actually shooting the gun currently instead of just holding it? Because if it had been any part of the last 90 seconds, he would have been firing away already. Do Russian authorities not have helicopters? I mean, I know they do because I've watched James Bond films, so how was Hopper able to just ride out in the open like this with zero consequences? Hopper's toes will survive these below freezing temperatures. Eating peanut butter without washing your hands. You've been in a Russian prison in the f***ing 80s. Once again, I've seen James Bond films. I know what I'm talking about. Your bacteria has bacteria by now?
Что такое? Ты зачем сюда звонишь?
I've known Yuri for about 10 minutes, and I already know the answer to this question. Why doesn't Enzo? Hopper hasn't tried to hide even once since he's been on the run, so regardless of being betrayed, he shouldn't be shocked the authorities have found him. Stranger Things had to spend almost 4 entire episodes this season to get to Hopper escaping, only to have Hopper get captured again almost immediately. Awesome.
Max, you know you can talk to me, right?
Obviously, she literally just said,
I told you. I'm fine. Okay? I mean, as fine as someone who's hurtling towards a gruesome death can be.
what more does she need to talk to you about, Lucas? F***ing Lucas.
We had 1 month of peace in that house, and then it began.
Staying in a house that clearly doesn't want you to stay in it. Also known as pulling an Amityville horror.
This was no wildcat. This was an evil. And evil neither animal nor human. This was a spawn of Satan.
To be fair, mutilating small animals is like step 1 in the serial killer playbook, so I think human should at least still be on the table. Also, if there is certainty that an evil is at work, I'm not sure what sitting on the porch with a shotgun is going to accomplish. Shotguns are more geared to kill wildcats or humans than evil entities. The scariest part here is that if police were informed of the spider infestation, they would probably just stick with the wildcat theory.
I suppose all evil must have a home.
Possibly, but I want to stress this point again. You do not have to share a home with the evil. Stranger Things, always being so on brand with their musical choices, missed a golden opportunity to have We Didn't Start the Fire playing over this scene of baby murder. And I won't stand for it.
Hatch, stop the bleeding.
And subsequent infection after the bleeding from an unwashed razor. Don't forget that. Everyone doesn't call Hatch Mr. Disinfectant for nothing.
Dear Billy, I don't know if you can even hear this.
Confusing deaf with death.
And the worst part is, I can't tell anyone why you're gone.
What was even the cause of death for him? Mall squid attack? How do they even keep covering these deaths up?
I stood there, and I watched.
Sadie Sink's ability to convey Max's combination of complex grief and survivor's guilt is the crux of this episode and the first half of the season. That's worth a send off.
Max. Max. Max!
Max.
Hey, that's our sin, asshole. F***ing Vecna.
Oh, something's wrong.
It really is. We've crossed the 1 hour mark and the episode still isn't f***ing over.
You know, I think there's a part of you buried somewhere deep that wanted me to die that day.
Oh, Mr. Vecna, or Fake Billy, or whatever you are, that was actually me. I hated Billy and prayed for his downfall, and I also thought that his little redemption arc was bullshit and came out of nowhere.
Lucas, please help! Justin!
Forgetting about Steve, the guy who's been driving you around all day against his will. Being stuck in a nightmare world about to die does not give you the right to be a dick to Steve, Max.
What are you doing in here, Max?
Vecna's asking Max what she's doing here when Vecna has led Max to here. Max is running towards that hole. Also, Vecna could create these f***ing nightmare worlds and trap kids in them, but can't catch up with a running teenager. Is there not a gym in this world? Vecna needs to work on that cardio. I don't say this lightly, but I feel this entire scene, from the amazing orchestral take on Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush to Max's sprint of desperation, all comes together as the finest sequence in all of Stranger Things so far.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no way Stranger Things Season 4 would have Max go through all that traumatic bullshit, have her come back, and then eventually make her blind, hobbled, and in a coma. Glad that never happens.
Don't put f***ing pineapple on a pizza.
So what, we're just supposed to trust that you're the good guys? Whoever you are?
Good guys are here. Excuse me, do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
40,000 American dollars, as promised.
That beautiful sound of cold, hard cash.
Hello there.
General Kenobi. Survived? Is that what you call this? This is God.
Bro, what the hell happened?
War never changes.
There's nowhere to go. There's really nowhere to go.
Whoa, look at that hole.